conduct the speed up, slow down thing.
We almost need to try that out.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to have to feel out just how this marriage works.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those little
Yeah.
things we need to go over.
The Kiss Symphony story began 3 months before the concert. We sat down with our conductor, David Campbell, to see how we could combine the music of Kiss and a symphony orchestra.
We may be better off starting with Detroit Rock City and just rocking out all the way on the end. We noticed that originally where the song was put was sort of 3/4 down, and it tended to all of a sudden settle, and then you sort of, gee, that's musical, let's listen to it.
I think that's better when we start trying to play it electrically. You know,
Although nothing would prevent you from, if you're not getting the ping da 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 with a choral effect, nothing would prevent Tommy from picking up an electric guitar while we're doing that in the acoustic segment. But in terms of the how the set moves, it probably works better.
Seems to fit much nicer.
You have your choice of who you want to get dressed up as.
People have been asking me this for weeks now. Who are you gonna? So
Oh,
I have to choose.
we're gonna have photos of you, and we're gonna send it to every actor you've ever worked with.
The cool thing was that he understood just innately and instinctively that the idea here was not to wimp out Kiss with an orchestra, but to pump it up and to maybe give an orchestra teeth it never had before.
David proved that our imagination could become reality, that Kiss could in fact become Kiss Symphony.
After their first Australian tour, the pageant performers are here for a one-off spectacular with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra.
Looking forward to seeing Peter?
Yes.
Is he your favourite?
Yep. It's shocking that he didn't come 2 years ago.
But he's here now.
Yeah, that's good. That's the best thing.
Brisbane. Go anywhere for Kiss.
I think you're really cool, and I like your music, and you do cool stuff on stage, and you're really good.
And you?
Love you all, Kiss.
Songs they play live.
Yeah, the jacket's in heat. Camp.
After this long trip overseas, getting off the plane, we were almost delirious. We were really, really excited. I mean, how can you not be when you're getting such a response from the people who were there, from the media, from the fans?
When we came out of customs, I was blown away by the fan response, especially towards me. I mean, I was the new guy in town, and everyone made me feel welcome immediately. It was cool.
Tell me, let's hope you're carrying your own bag.
Stella's gonna die.
We were a bit jittery. We weren't exactly sure what this Kiss Symphony would actually sound like. We knew what we sounded like. We knew what a symphony orchestra would sound like, but we didn't have a clue what it would sound like together.
Paul! Everybody coming to the show? Yeah! You go to the show, Paul. I'm going to the show. We'll be there with you.
Paul, can you sign mine, please?
My heart was racing to think, man, like I was going to play with the Melbourne Symphony. I had a lot of anxiety, man, but it was a good anxiety.
When it all began, there was a moment of insanity where somebody came up with the idea that Kiss, of all bands, would work with a world-class symphony orchestra.
Kiss and symphony aren't two words necessarily that go together, but in very short order, it was very clear that we were all here for one thing and one thing only. Both the symphony and Kiss would get together and create something big and something bombastic.
Now my luggage is really way in time. Where's the can of hairspray? I'll get it.
That's good though.
There's not a lot in them. This man is responsible for the hole in the ozone layer. Oh, that's funny. Birds fly over his house.
I make the chestnuts banging.
That's what I'm talking about.
The anticipation of meeting people we'd never seen before, let alone coming all the way from the States, was exciting and unsettling, because what normally might take months of preparation had to happen in about 3 days.
Oh, I'm enjoying it a lot. Yeah.
The orchestra had only seen the music that day.
When we were walking into the first rehearsal, the road ahead was unknown. We literally had no idea what kind of world we were stepping into.
It's my great pleasure to introduce the band. They're all in here now.
I got you good, didn't I?
Stanley,
It's not working. Thank you.
Gene Simmons, Peter Chris, who's somewhere. Yeah, there he is. There's Peter over there. And Tommy Thayer. And it's a great pleasure to welcome back David Campbell, who some of you will remember conducted the string session that we did to pre-record the Tenor and Renaissance for the Olympics.
You'll notice in the parts that there aren't very many dynamic markings because it's kind of a situation, when in doubt, play loud. It was sort of pointless to... I always remember the first meeting I had with the band, Gene's comment was, you know, in that spot right there, there's going to be bombs going off, so you better have every part of the orchestra playing. So I took that to task, and so everyone's playing a lot. So we're starting with God of Thunder.
The first time I heard the symphony play was like you get reassured about something and you feel real good about it. That's how I felt when I heard them.
That's very good. Let's put a little breath between da, dee, da, da, so you get a good accent on the second note of the bar.
Once we got started, there was still some tension in the air. We were still really just checking each other out.
There was really the sense of two worlds colliding, but we really believed that impact would lead to something unknown and spectacular.
Rock and roll.
3, 4.
Sure enough, as soon as we started playing, our worst fears were met head on. We weren't playing with the orchestra, or the orchestra wasn't playing with us. It didn't matter, but we weren't playing together.
It was clear we weren't synchronized. They were feeling it one way, we were certainly feeling it another.
Oh, you think it's me not locked in with the orchestra and everybody else is locked in?
Well, everybody is a contributing factor, no?
It seems as if we're in sync here.
Did it feel like it was getting faster? Or did we not start?
I don't think we're in sync together. It seems like you guys are in sync with yourselves. We're playing with Peter, and it somehow doesn't seem to lock.
Okay, I wasn't wearing my headphones, so sometimes I couldn't hear the band so well. That was...
How about we get a small camera and put a little monitor so Peter can watch you?
My main point was I didn't think we were synced.
No,
Let's just do it again. Do it again.
And it was very clear that we'd have to turn our instruments down. So in a real way, we would actually have to be listening to somebody else. Usually, we just listen to each other.
You'd see this orchestra that was used to playing Beethoven, Mozart, Schubert, Schumann, and on and on and on, and here they are playing God of Thunder. It was so surreal, and yet it was so right.
Right, before the you did a counter melody that was that, and we were doing is like that third. And if you could just play that section if you don't mind.
I think that might have been a wrong note.
That's what I was getting to. Play it one more time, please.
Yeah.
I see. Again, I would urge, just as a knucklehead off the street, to tacit right before because the drums do that. Can't we think of
Yeah.
so that we all kick it together?
Yeah.
I think that's a great part.
Okay.
And they weren't, and it wasn't.
It became clear that David Campbell was more essential than ever. In a sense, he was the translator, he was the interpreter, he was the conduit between the orchestra and us. We were basically speaking two very different languages.
As the rehearsals progressed, it was very clear that the band was getting jazzed. I mean, we were starting to face each other and do moves.
When we started to get into the groove and gel, and the orchestra was getting into the groove and gelling with us, you could see us all moving as one big force.
In point of fact, everybody seemed a lot more confident. We were starting to look at each other, and we were starting to feel, maybe we can pull this off. And the symphony orchestra was actually starting to smile. They were actually starting to shake their heads like, yeah, wow, that's cool.
And I'd like to be Gene, thank you, if that's the correct term for it.
Yeah.
I've been doing my tongue exercises too.
And may we see those? Profile?
A 750-year-old snare drum out of the wood from the temple underneath Lake Superior. Wow. Sounds phenomenal.
Obviously, this is really exciting to be doing this. It's a once-in-a-lifetime chance, opportunity. It's going to be one of the biggest things we've ever done.
Okay, yeah. leave the full orchestra rehearsal in the afternoon early to do the makeup, I could still work with them.
Oh, no. That doesn't matter. This is the 14th.
Full orchestra rehearsal. Then we go to do sound check at the TV studio.
Yeah, I know.
And then we need 2 hours.
In other words, at the studio, once we leave you with the full symphony, we go to the television studio, and then we have another hour of rehearsal with the smaller symphony. If there's a time constraint, we would like to rehearse less than an hour with the smaller version. That should be fun.
Because we're rehearsing
because we're doing.
But I think
just
for blocking and audio.
It's not so much
sound check.
It's for blocking and audio.
You should know the song because we're doing it with them here
So what
anyway.
we'll do is we'll rehearse
But you
for
understand,
blocking.
it's not about.
So then what we'll do is we'll rehearse first for blocking. Then we'll bring in the ensemble. We'll rehearse with them for sound. And then we'll be out of there.
Please welcome them back to Rove Live, the hottest band in the world, Kiss. So how's the gig looking for Friday night with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra?
It's amazing, you know. It's something that only we, in our insanity, would even attempt. You know, here we are playing a 3-act show where we'll come out and first, do Kiss as people know Kiss, and then we'll do an unplugged segment with a string ensemble, and then go balls to the wall, with a 60-piece orchestra. So
look, he's getting ready for his next question.
It's pretty amazing.
I just got excited at balls to the wall. That's it.
Whatever turns you on, sailor.
Oh my God, I'm going to Kiss. Yeah.
Yes, most definitely.
I think they're saving themselves for Gene.
Most definitely, yes.
Hi, Jane.
How you doing? Right. Hello. Stick your tongue out. Kiss are the greatest band in the world. I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. Professional Stanley, you're an absolute living legend. You rock, son. Keep rocking. If Peter Chris doesn't do dirty living, I'll be screaming murder. Just relax, mate. We'll be on shortly. If they don't do anything from the Elder, I'll be screaming. I'll come down for the weekend, yeah. I've got the Rolling Stones tomorrow night, but that would be a bit of a letdown after tonight. Because I think the Elder deserves to be actually played for a bit. Odyssey, Fanfare, Just a Boy. Then Great Expectations from Destroyer, well, that's an absolute given. Kiss are the best rock and roll band on the planet. They play for the fans, not for their ego. That's why we love them. It's all about a labour of love here, mate. Just rock and roll.
The night before the show, we had a full-scale production rehearsal at the stadium. Up until then, we had 2 short rehearsals with the orchestra, and now we had only one chance to combine that with all the elements of what we normally do.
That, it doesn't, we've had ones that went.
How about when you used to go out in the basket?
I'd pee in my fucking boot,
It kind of gives you that sensation of like when you're at Magic Mountain, you go up the tallest roller coaster, you're like, holy shit, I'm a lot higher than I thought it was going to be,
There were times when I'd be up there and go, I just want to come down.
We know what it takes to make a great Kiss show, not only for us, but for our fans, and preparation is everything. Time wasn't on our side, but that's the challenge we intended to face head on.
I'm Gene's bass tech. Slave, whatever. So it's just, just making sure his guitars are restrung, tuned up, and make sure his amplifiers are set up the same way every day. Just make sure everything's done the same way. That's all his guitars right there. I go through about 3 basses a night. I use one at the first half of the show, and then I use for his solo, we have the axe bass right here. This is what he flies up into the truss with. He'll get this thing all bloody for his solo. Just drips blood, and it's just caked with blood at the end of that, so I have to change out. And I give him a 3rd bass, and then he finishes the show off with that. So hopefully I don't get yelled at too much.
I was watching when the members of the symphony orchestra actually came into the stadium. I could see them get more excited by the minute as they entered something they'd never thought they'd ever be in, something so big.
Here they are, fledgling rock stars, looking around and going, you know something? This ain't half bad. I think I'll take it.
Let me tell you about the members of the Melbourne Symphony. They were so cool. The guys at percussion let me touch their stuff. The bass player, there was some bass player there, clicked with him like magic. This guy was so sweet. So I was feeling very in tune with these guys. They really let me in to, I'm sure, a private circle.
I've always said a crappy rock band with a big show is still a crappy rock band. It ultimately comes down to the 4 members of the band delivering the goods, and that's the foundation of everything else that comes on it.
What has happened here? How amazing. You know, you sit on your sofa in a living room in Manhattan, write songs, and it leads to this. This is amazing.
You guys follow me around, huh? Wherever I go. What do you think of all this? Isn't this great? Very
22. Hey.
I'm the first guy to step on the stage. Always the drummer. See, the drummer has to be the first guy out there. You know what they did? They built a television on top of my bass drum and put David on it. He just was on my drums so I could see him all fucking night long on the bass drum. That is style.
When we walked into the Telstra Dome, the orchestra was already up on stage rehearsing, and it was the most ominous, awe-inspiring thing I've ever heard. Couldn't wait to get my guitar on and get up on stage. We're excited.
It takes longer to get up here when you've got these kind of shoes on, these kind of boots, instead of 8-inch heels. 8-inch heels, 2 steps, I'm at the top. Watch your step. Welcome to Rock World. There you go. You see, he's a conductor and arranger, but he's a closet rock and roll star.
That's right. I'm at least halfway out of the closet.
I'm telling you.
Tonight.
Well, look, you're in the environment.
Yeah. Sorry about that. So I think maybe we best just leave the headphones off.
Hey guys, that stage right wing vocal is not working right now. You can't go to the stage.
Now the real key is I left the other one.
Hold on. Roll off some of the lows. Less lows in the front mix. 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. There you go.
That is the Gene Simmons
Boy, there's a real delay in here. Do you guys hear it?
Not so much, I don't really hear it.
Maybe I could use a little more ear monitor. Want to try
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
can't see you. Gene, you want to take these cues? I can't see them.
Ready, David? Tom?
Okay, let's run the whole piece from the beginning. So count. 0, 2, 3, 4.
Here we were sharing something that few would ever get to experience. The adrenaline rush was amazing, but the uncertainty remained. We weren't sure where this was going to take us.
When there's 60 guys up there doing a sound check with you, it's a better sound check than usual. Sound check went great, which gave me a good feeling about, man, the show's going to be better. So I went back to my room that night after the sound check. I kind of lay in bed and went, ooh, baby, this is going to be good.
Are we on? You're on camera.
G'day.
Fairy tales can come true.
Love stories, you know, what can I say?
They can happen to you. How old is your violin?
My violin. Violin?
Oh, that's what was
Viola?
rubbing up against something.
Now this is where things really become fun. There's really nothing better than getting dressed up in Kiss costumes, Kiss makeup, and then getting on stage in front of 40,000 people at the Telstra Dome. I know the orchestra was really looking forward to this.
I'm getting used to this now. It's going to be, hard to not do it tomorrow, right?
What about meant to be there at night and do you again tomorrow morning as you wake up and stuff?
Excellent.
To put an entire symphony orchestra into Kiss makeup would have to be done very, very fast. You're talking about 60 to 70 people that had to be put into full Kiss makeup in under 2 hours. So Kiss stencils were made for the event. We brought in airbrush artists.
And when everybody got together, there was a sense of purpose, camaraderie, and a take-no-prisoners attitude that could only add up to the kind of event that was about to unfold.
A complete culture shock. Well, we're used to working not in small spaces, but in completely acoustic halls, and now to actually just pluck our instruments and fill the entire Telstra Dome is a shock.
There we go. This is Jean.
This is Jean.
How many white faces have we got? Do you want me to start on makeup or white faces? The white faces.
Just seeing all the guys, seeing the lineup with the orchestra will be sensational.
Rock and roll!
This can't be the end, I'm only young. So I thought, I want to see them for another 20 years.
I think we should probably do more in MSA concerts like this.
And everyone's been really positive about it, and I think it's what actually brought the orchestra together a lot more.
And the music's good.
Yeah, and the music's really well arranged.
And good to play.
David Campbell gets the medal for service beyond the call of duty. I mean, here's a guy who wrote these amazing charts for us and then became the coach and the team leader for basically a bunch of babes in the woods. Classical musicians who didn't know what they had gotten themselves into, but bravely were planning to go where no man had gone before. Certainly not dressed the way they were.
I remember he'd give them pep talks through the rehearsals and pep talks right before they went up on stage. He told them they didn't just play great, that they were great.